Dr. Dain here from Access Consciousness. Welcome again to the Tour of Consciousness. It's great to be with you. Speaking with you this time from beautiful Santa Clara, California in the Silicon Valley. Some of the world's largest internet and technology corporations are within walking distance here. It's kind of interesting to be in this area. So as I like to do, I have a tool I'd like to share with you from a meeting that I was having with the Access Consciousness team this morning. For those of you that don't know, our Access Consciousness team are the people who put on the seminars and the workshops and get the books printed and that sort of thing from Access Consciousness. We were having a meeting this morning, and now picture this. We're in a meeting and there's 8 of us in a room together, and normally we're a jovial group, we're happy, it's light, we laugh, we have a good time. And as the hours wore on, it felt like we were going like this, and we were wondering what is going on. Because what we were doing is we were getting together to generate some more possibilities, like, hey, how can we serve the people that come to us better? How can we contribute to their lives more? And we realized as the meeting got heavier and heavier that something is going on. And finally one person said, well, you know, we're looking at creating all these other things. Is it possible that with what we've created so far, we're missing this? And then another person said, well, is it possible we're missing this? And then another person said, is it possible we're missing this? Sometimes we're cute, we're just not very bright. We had this, you know, it took us 3 times to get the awareness. And Gary Douglas, the founder, who's also my business partner, he happened to be on a conference call with us, and he said, can I ask you guys to reframe something, please? He said, rather than asking, what am I missing and what's wrong here? Why don't you ask this question instead? What can I create and generate differently? So that's the tool I'm sharing with you. What can I create and generate differently? Every time you find yourself wanting to go to, am I missing this or am I missing this? Because what happens is when you ask a question like what's wrong and what am I missing, you take the energy and you compress it because you're judging it. You're judging that there's something wrong. Instead, when you ask what can I create and generate differently that I haven't acknowledged, you take the energy and move it out this way and your life expands. That's exactly what happened in this meeting. As soon as we made the distinction, this awareness, and we all asked the question together, we looked at each other and went, wow, what can we create and generate differently? Instantly, the energy in the room lightened. 15 minutes later, we had a list of possibilities for things we wanted to create together and bring to you, whereas before, in 3 hours, we had 2 things, okay? 3 hours, 2 things, looking at what's wrong. 15 minutes, all kinds of things, looking at what the creative and generative possibilities are. So, where do you apply this in your life? Well, if you happen to be in a business meeting, for example, and it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier, you know the kind if you've ever been in one of those, raise your hand and say, hey, what can we create and generate differently? Sure, it may make people look at you funny, but it will begin to open up the energy. Another example of where you can use this, have you ever had your partner in relationship say, honey, we must talk? Ooh, nothing strikes fear into the heart of someone you're in relationship with other than, you know, more than saying that. When you get to that conversation that you're going to have, you know, the one you've been dreading all day long, rather than asking what's wrong and what are we missing that's not right, what if instead you said, hey, what else can we create and generate that we haven't acknowledged? What can we create and what can we generate differently here? When you ask for that difference, the possibilities expand. Check out the beauty behind me and around me. Wow, is this an amazingly beautiful planet or what? You know, here's the thing. Good planets are kind of really hard to find. What if we could appreciate ours even more? What if you could look around at just one object of beauty today, one plant or a view that you have from your house or maybe from your office or maybe on a drive or maybe somewhere you like to go and have lunch? And what if you could just appreciate it? What if you could allow that to contribute to you today, to contribute to your body? And what if it could make your life a happier place? So I'm here, there are hundreds of people around and in beautiful Mallorca because it's summertime, it's the time of vacation in Europe. So lots of people have chosen to travel here to this beautiful destination, you know, this vacation destination. And you know what? As I look out over the ocean, I see this amazing beauty. And we're gonna maybe take the camera over here. I don't know if it'll work, but this amazing beauty, and right in that plant right there was a little bird sitting there just a few moments ago going, hey, I'm here. How's your day going? What if the world around you actually were willing to contribute to you? And what if it were willing to make your world a better place? As you start to see more of the beauty in the world, that seems to be the effect. And, really, it's a choice you have and a choice that is available if you're willing to choose it. So, the tool for today, look at one object of beauty and just appreciate it for a moment. And then when you're done, after you've sort of basked in the beauty of something that you wouldn't necessarily normally appreciate, here's what I'd like you to do. Take a look in the mirror at you and see if you can see you as the beautiful object you truly are, the beautiful being you truly are. We're not often invited to that, unfortunately. What if you were? What if from the moment you woke up this morning, there were absolutely no judgment of you or your body? What if all you could see were the beauty of you? Well, you know what? When you start to see the beauty in the world around you, beauty starts to become a reality and a possibility for you to perceive in you too. So what is the tool I would like to share with you today? This question. Are you willing to live and are you willing to be fully alive? Well, guess what? If you are, and the answer is yes, what would that mean differently in your life? Well, if I ask you that question and ask if you're willing to be fully alive, do you get for just a moment the energy of that and the energy that could be for you? If you were willing to have that as your aim or your target in life and your target for your life and living, what would you be choosing differently? And that's a question you want to ask yourself. Hey, am I willing to live? Am I willing to truly live? Am I willing to embrace the exuberant expression and abundance of life and living that's possible here? Now, there are a lot of people that don't even know that exists. Most people sort of walk around kind of like, sort of unhappy. And we've been taught that we're not supposed to be exuberant after we're about 6 years old. We're taught we need to slow down and we need to get serious. Well, you know what? What if it's time to change that? What if it's time to actually come alive again? So when I ask you this, are you willing to be fully alive? And if you get a yes, then the next question you want to ask is, what would I have to let go of? Or what would I have to embrace? Or what would I have to change for that to occur? Only you know what it's going to be for you that allows you to fully embrace life and living. But I'm inviting you to it now. I just wanted to share a little story with you from the class this weekend that I'm facilitating. There's a beautiful young lady in this class, just in her preteen years. And from the time she was 4 years old, she saw some horrendous abuse happen to one of her family members. And she's kind of a healer. In other words, she tries to make people feel better all the time. And she tried to make her family member feel better at 4 years old. And at the same time, she tried to undo what was making the other family member abuse. And so this little girl, from the time she was 4, basically had her electrical system and her immune system shut down. And the doctors have not been able to find anything wrong with her, except her skeleton is fragile and frail, and her body's been very fragile and frail. And so I gave this young girl a hug yesterday, and it felt like this little twig in your hands. And I just held her and let her know that it was okay to be that, or okay to choose something different if she wanted to. And between that and the access consciousness work we were doing in class, I gave that young lady a hug again today. And she felt dynamically more substantial. And she felt like she was actually there and able to receive the hug and able to gift in return. And she has this cute smile on her face that just won't go away. And she's the reason I'm bringing you this tool today. Hugging this girl, I realized that she is starting to make a choice to live and be fully alive, and I wanted to bring that to you.
Jeg begyndte at tro mere på mig selv, med at jeg kan hele. Og så har jeg også nu er jeg også begyndt at vil leve mere end.
It changed my world seeing the courage this little girl has and her willingness to choose something different and greater than what her reality has been since 4 years old, but she was willing to do it. Are you? Thank you so much for being with me. I look forward to seeing you next time, and what if you, truly being you, are the gift and the change this world requires. Thanks for being my beautiful friends. Bye.